Call me an elitist, but that's just how I am. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So even though I am set up in my more formal sit-down video setup here, I wanted to do a little bit more of a casual video. It is bookish, but there also is going to be some random stuff with it, and that is stuff I've been feeling lately. So that's everything from books to TV to random stuff, food, whatever. I just wanted to sit down and talk to you about stuff that I've been feeling this summer, stuff that I've been enjoying, and that maybe you will get some inspiration to try some of these things out. So starting off thematically, we're going to talk about the bookish stuff. And I will say the current situation is that I am struggling to finish books because I am so busy, so much is going on, and I've just been having a hard time like devoting the time to read. But that being said, I have been really enjoying books about AI, which is something that I did not expect to enjoy. Actually, the discussion of AI started on a day trip with my boyfriend, and we drove home. It was like a 2-hour drive home, and we ended up getting on the topic of AI and the ethics of AI for some reason. I don't know why, but we went through a whole discussion of that, and that sort of sparked the interest in me. But book-wise, I wanted to read Foe by Ian Reid because I'm thinking of ending things as one of my favorite books now. And I wanted to read this one even though it didn't sound like something that was super gripping to me. It is basically a rural AI, sort of space-ish, futuristic. I'm not telling it very well, but it's so good. It relates to AI, but in a sort of weird perspective sort of way. I finished reading this and I was like, oh my God, where has this topic been all my life? I have been missing out on this huge genre that I love, which I didn't think I was going to love. So from here, I tried to find some other books on AI, and I had been seeing Clara and the Sun floating around all over Instagram. So I picked that one up, and that is also a strange, interesting new perspective on AI that I absolutely adored. That's gonna be one of my favorite books of the year, honestly. So after I finished Clara and the Sun, I went on Goodreads and tried to find some like similar thematic books, and I ended up finding The Hierarchies by Ross Anderson, which is the book that I'm currently reading. So yeah, for some reason, something in me was just gripped by the topic of AI, and I don't know if it was the conversation or reading Foe or what it was, but at some point recently I just got swept away by that concept, and now that's all I want to read about. The other reading sort of topic genre that I've been feeling lately is Japanese translated lit. So I have a ton of translated literature, but I haven't read all of it, and honestly I read a lot of my Spanish translated lit, and I did a reading vlog on that, so I've read more of that. But I've collected so much Japanese translated literature and just Asian translated in general, and didn't read it until recently for some reason. So I've been going back through, and I've read Breasts and Eggs by Miko Kawakami. I just read Convenience Store Woman. I've read Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and then there's some other ones up here that I really want to get to soon. So for some reason, Japanese translated literature has just been really doing it for me. I don't know why. I think the writing style is so interesting, and how it's translated can be so fascinating. And I feel like a lot of those books delve deeper into characters in a more raw way than I think a lot of like American or English literature does. I don't know how to explain that really, but something about it is just so unique and powerful, and I'm loving it right now. And the last random thing that I've been feeling lately for books is Kazu Ishiguro. So like I said, Clara and the Sun. And I still haven't read Never Let Me Go, which is like his magnum opus piece, but I did read the Faber Stories edition of Come Rain or Come Shine, which is a short story by him, and absolutely loved it. So I do think that Ishiguro is going to be a favorite of mine, and I've just really been feeling his writing lately, though I don't know if I'm going to go further than those 3 books, because he writes a lot of historical fiction, and I don't like historical fiction. I used to love it, and I've just been so like oversaturated with historical fiction in my lifetime that at this point I just don't want to read it. So maybe some point in the future I will want to pick up one of his historical fiction novels, but for now I need to get to Never Let Me Go, and then we'll see what happens after that. Okay, so on to other media things that I've been feeling lately. For shows, I really only have one, and it is The Handmaid's Tale, which, oh my god, that show is intense, but incredible. I haven't read The Handmaid's Tale book. My best friend Bex was like, please read the book before you watch the show. I didn't listen to her. And now I'm like too into the show to want to read the book, but I will eventually. I have the book on my shelf and it's on my TBR and I will read it eventually. But the show is so good, and basically the first season is, from what I've heard, pretty much exactly like the book or very similar to the book, and after that it kind of takes its own liberties and does other things. And season 4 came out this summer, and my mom and I had watched seasons 1 through 3 during quarantine, and we just binged all of those over like a couple of weeks. And season 4 finally came out, so we watched that, and then we were like, what are we gonna do with ourselves? So we decided to rewatch the series again, and now we're on season 2, the end of season 2. So it's not gonna be long till we finish it again, and then I don't know what we're gonna do with ourselves. But very good show, very intense. Basically any trigger that you might have, it's in this show. Like it's a lot, so I would look that up before you dive into it. So yeah, The Handmaid's Tale is what I've been feeling for shows lately. And then for music, I usually tend to be a person who listens to like full albums. I don't always love like shoving everything in a playlist and just listening to it that way. Like I like having CDs and listening to an album in its entirety as it's meant to be listened to. Call me an elitist, but that's just how I am. So there's a couple of albums that I have been obsessed with lately. The first of which is Vance Joy's Nation of Two, Nation for Two, I don't remember, but one of those. That album slaps. It's so good. I love Vance Joy in general. Like, I know that everyone just knows Riptide, and that's fine. Like, I get it. It's a bop. It's a good one. But I think some of his other music is honestly better than Riptide. It definitely doesn't have that same, like, nostalgia as Riptide, obviously, but the quality and, like, the lyrics of the other songs are so good, and I feel like people miss out on Vance Joy because they just stop at Riptide. So this was his newer album, and I'm obsessed with it. I do really like the older album that Riptide is on as well. I've been listening to both, but the Nation of Two or whatever, that one has been currently a favorite of mine. And then, again, going back to a artist that is known for one song in particular, I am currently obsessed with Hozier. Actually, I think it was uncarley on YouTube who got me back into Hozier because she did that whole video reading his favorite books. And then I was like, oh, I haven't listened to Hozier in a while. So then I found his album Wasteland Baby, which I'm calling his new album. Came out in 2019. It's not new anymore, but 2020 was a non-year, okay? Like 2020 didn't exist. So 2019 was last year, right? Right. But yeah, his new album, Wasteland Baby, is so incredible and so moving and just absolutely beautiful. So I've been listening to that nonstop, but I've also been obviously going back and listening to his old album. I think it's self-titled, the one that Take Me to Church is on, which is the one that everybody knows. But I think some of his other songs, again, are so good and so much, I would even say better than Take Me to Church, because honestly, Take Me to Church is so overplayed, or was so overplayed for a long time, that it's lost a little bit of its like touch. But some of his other music is just so good, and I highly, highly recommend listening to it. The other one I've been listening to a lot is Mumford & Sons. I know everyone knows Mumford & Sons, so it's nothing new, but there's this one song called Woman that I've never heard until recently, and I don't know how I missed that one, but for some reason that song just like gets me every time, so love that one. I've also been listening to Bon Iver a lot. Again, I know people know Bon Iver, but this is all kind of my music taste. Like I like a lot of indie / alternative and also folk and like newer folk, that kind of thing. I also love 60s music, but like lately I've been really leaning into the newer folk indie scene. And I know that makes me not like other girls, but you know, it is what it is. I like it. I'm not gonna apologize for it. But yes, Bon Iver is awesome, and basically all of their albums are great, but I've been listening to the one, I think it's For Emma Forever Ago. That album is really good, so highly recommend. If you haven't listened to the whole album, it's really nice to listen to all the way through, and it's also like really good reading music. And then finally, this one is kind of funny, like don't laugh at me for this, but I've been kind of, as you can see by like Vance Joy and Hozier, like I've been going back to like a couple of years ago and the nostalgia of like 2013, 2014, like, oh God, that's not a couple of years ago. That's longer than a couple of years ago. Oh God. But anyway, I've been going back a little bit to that sort of nostalgic time of being a young teenager, for me anyway. And I started listening to Bastille again, and not their like newer stuff, like their OG, like Pompeii era Bastille, which, again, don't laugh at me, but some of their songs like legitimately still slap. Like Icarus is so good, and also The Weight of Living Part 1, so good. I think that's like extra on the album. Like, I don't know if it's on the regular album, but you can find it. Highly recommend those two. Those are my favorite on the album, and those are the ones that I feel like people don't talk about or know about as much. So yeah, that's all the music that I've been feeling lately. Okay, here we're getting into some more random stuff, but food and drinks. So I've been obsessed with making this lavender mint iced tea, which I took a photo of myself with said tea. I put it on Instagram, so check out my Instagram, link in the description. But anyway, basically I took some dried lavender and fresh mint, and I made little sachets out of coffee filters, and I put everything inside, tied up the little coffee filters, stuck it in a giant jar, filled the jar with cold water, and stuck it in the sun for a couple of hours. My family has been making sun tea for a while, just like putting tea bags in a jar of water and like sticking it outside for the day. And that's something that we do every summer, but we usually do it with like traditional tea bags. And so I wanted to try it with like fresh herbs, and it was so good. So I don't really have like an exact recipe, but if you have lavender and mint, just stick it in some water in like a little sachet or tea bag, let it sit out in the sun. It's amazing. And the other drink that I've been obsessed with is this chocolate mint smoothie. Actually, I got the recipe for that years ago and then just didn't make it for a long time, and now it's like my favorite thing. I'll have the full recipe in the description, but it's basically a chocolate avocado mint sort of like sweet, thick smoothie, and it is amazing. And the other random food that I've been obsessed with is Granny Smith apples. I know no one's ever heard of those, right? But highly recommend. And the final food-related thing that I've been obsessed with is these cauliflower pizza crusts. It sounds weird, but the brand is Cauliflower. I'll put it in front of my face right here. It doesn't taste like cauliflower pizza crust. It just tastes like thin crust pizza, and you just pile on toppings, whatever you want. And it's gluten-free, and they have a paleo one too, so they have lots of options. I have celiac, so I'm gluten-free, so I'm always trying to find like different options for gluten-free pizza because I love pizza. So this is my favorite pizza crust right now, and it is not only gluten-free, but it's literally made of cauliflower, so it's probably the healthier option that you can find. So yeah, highly recommend cauliflower pizza crusts. They've been my craving for like a couple of weeks now. Okay, let's move on to clothes. So I'm currently wearing one of my obsessions. I have been loving the colors green, yellow, and this rust color, which overall I've been trying to like transform my wardrobe to be those kind of neutral tones. And I've been really loving linen for the summertime. I love wearing linen, but I've been really enjoying like collared button-down shirts like this. I have a couple of different ones. This is actually a romper, like it's attached. It's really cute. I love it. But yeah, I really like rompers and one pieces and overalls, like that kind of aesthetic. I am someone who is pretty low maintenance with clothes. Like, I don't want to feel high maintenance. I don't want to feel like I have so many different pieces or things to worry about. So I try to keep it pretty low maintenance, and the easiest way for me to do that is to like throw on a one piece or throw on linen and just kind of go for that like casual breezy vibe. That's what I've been trying to lean into. So yeah, those are like my current favorite things to wear. So for shoes, I've pretty much only been wearing my Birkenstocks. These are my current Birkenstocks. I know it's kind of gross. Look, I was a Birkenstock person before it was cool. My dad bought Birkenstocks back when he was living in Arizona, when he was in his 20s. And ever since I was born, basically, I was born into the Birkenstock tradition. And I know now they're like more trendy and a lot more people wear them, but I wore them before they were cool, and people have said they're Jesus shoes to me, so I've been teased for wearing Jesus shoes for a while, but honestly, they're the most comfortable shoes. I wear them with everything, and I'm just a Birkenstock enthusiast, so deal with it. And the final, like, clothing related thing that I'm obsessed with is this ring that I got from Etsy. I'll try to find it and put it in the description, but it is a ginkgo ring. It looks like that, and it's just a ginkgo leaf. It's sterling silver. I really love ginkgo leaves. I have really fond memories of walking around the town that I live in, and we have a lot of ginkgo trees around the lakes in our town. So I would walk around the lakes and sit under the ginkgo tree and enjoy like the leaves and all of that. So yeah, I really love ginkgo leaves and I think they're so pretty. So I have this really cute ring that I wear pretty much daily. Okay, second to last category I have for this video is YouTubers. So going for booktubers first, I've been really enjoying, I think it's pronounced allyvee, but I found her channel from doing a Reading Carly Thorne's favorite books video, and I started watching her other videos and I think she's so funny, so relatable, so interesting, and I love what she has to say about books, so I really enjoy her channel. Even though she does like other stuff other than book related content, I think I would still put her in that category. And obviously I've said this before, I love Paperback Dreams, but I've been watching Kat's channel more lately. Sometimes I'll just go back and watch a bunch of her old videos, and that's what I've been doing lately, so Paperback Dreams. And then I don't know if you know this, but I'm like really into cooking and those kind of things. I have been for years. I almost did culinary for my job. I was almost a chef. So I do still watch a lot of like food related YouTube. And one of my favorite channels that I've been watching a lot lately is Joshua Weissman. He does a lot of kind of funny videos about cooking, but he also does a lot of serious videos. And he's always very over the top and extra with his recipes. So I don't know that I would really make any of his recipes, but I really like watching them. And then the final YouTuber that I've been watching a lot is a channel called MorganDrinksCoffee. So Morgan is a barista, and as a barista, I really want to learn more from her, especially. She's amazing. So I watch her channel a lot for inspiration, for tutorials, and also because she's just fun and funny, and she makes a lot of like really silly reels on Instagram too. So yeah, I really like MorganDrinksCoffee. I think she's awesome. And then the final category is the absolutely random category, just because I wanted to talk about these two things very much. First of all, my cat Eli, I posted a photo of him on my story and he's so cute, and I just wanted an excuse to show you a picture of my wonderful cat. But of course I'm obsessed with him, he's the cutest. And the other random thing that I'm obsessed with is hexaflexagons. So let me explain. Years ago, my best friend and I watched a video by Vihart, which I forget when it came out, but it was a long time ago. And it was about hexaflexagons and what the heck those are and how you make them. And basically, I have one here, but basically it is a long strip of paper that you fold into equilateral triangles, and then you twist them and fold them all together. And you can make this like little thing that you can pinch and open up in the center. And it's like a little thing to fiddle with. So I've been making so many of these. I'll leave the link to that old video that we watched in the description, so if you want to learn how to make these, you can. But they're so much fun, and I'm gonna be doing this as a craft program in September for the library, which I'm so pumped about. But I've just been making them myself, like a lot, and I'm obsessed with them, and they're so much fun to fiddle with. Like every time my mom and I watch The Handmaid's Tale, I just fiddle with this like constantly because it's so much fun. And I'm somebody who really needs to have like my hands occupied while I'm watching something, otherwise I get like a little bit fidgety. So I tried to just do this while I am watching a show. But anyway, thank you for putting up with my very random discussion of things that I've been into lately. I hope that you enjoyed this very rambly, strange video and got something out of it. Please let me know what you've been into this summer. It could be anything, just let me know in the comments below. If you liked this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.